Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 6, Episode 5 of Live with CDP Sports Talk, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Gulf Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycullen.com as well. And also a special shout out to radio station WQEE 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta, the home of Southern Talk and Sports. And thank you to Ryan O'Neill for sponsoring this podcast show as well. I hope everybody's having a great day. And I'm looking forward to my guest today. She's first time on my show. Her name is Evelyn Magley. She is the owner and CEO of the Basketball League, and she's the first woman in the world to own a professional sports league. And I'm really excited to speak to Evelyn today about the TBL and also the merger with the National Basketball League of Canada as well, going into 2024 as the Basketball Super League as well. Just bear with me one second, and I'm going to bring on my guest, Evelyn. Good afternoon, Evelyn. How are you doing?
Hi, Chris. I'm doing well, and really excited about being on your show. I'm just like to say thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to tell you more about TBL, BSL, and the journey that we've been on these past 6 years.
And you must be getting exciting as well, because the TBL playoffs will be starting, I believe, next week as well.
Yes, they will. We're going to start with our playoffs, and it's going to be a real interesting playoffs and how everything will be put together. But we're really excited about all of the undertaking of this playoff.
Well, since I have you on here, Evelyn, as well, you added 3 Canadian franchises earlier this year in Montreal, Newfoundland, and Academy Alma. How's that experience been with those 3 teams so far?
Absolutely wonderful. All 3 teams, one thing that they have in common is their love for the community. And that's one of the main values that we have in TBL, is that we take our teams and our players, and everything that we're about is being in the community, which makes our teams a community asset.
And I think Audley has done a great job with the NBLC as well. And I know the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans, a team I covered a lot this year, they would have the players sign autographs for fans 10, 15 minutes after each game. And the new owners, David and Kate Schooley, have done a great job so far. And I'm looking forward to the future of your league as well.
Yes, we're excited about everything that is developing through TBL, and then also expanding also up into North America with BSL. So there are a lot of exciting things that are coming our way.
So right now, currently, I believe you have 6 divisions, 46 teams, 3 Canadian teams for now. I believe the NBL teams have confirmed are London, Sudbury, and Kitchener-Waterloo. Fingers crossed with the Windsor Express. Fingers crossed.
Yes, we're excited about that. As I had a little bit of experience, being that I lived in Canada for 2 years with the Brampton A's of NBL Canada. And the one thing that I learned about Canadians is just their love for community, their love for the game of basketball. In fact, I know that it's basketball and soccer are the fastest 2 growing, other than cricket, fastest 2 growing sports there in Canada. And I'm excited about the teams that are coming in, because Of course, basketball's founder, James Naismith, was a Canadian, and it would only be befitting that the two would merge, so to speak, and bring something across North America that's going to impact so many communities.
Absolutely. One thing I've learned too is listening skills. Since you brought up your experience with the NBLC in Brampton, can I just ask you what that experience was like with David as the commissioner and yourself as the director of community engagement with the Brampton A's?
It was eye-opening, an eye-opening experience. I can remember going to meetings that the different nonprofit organizations would meet, and there would be 50 different organizations sitting at a round table in a room. And the experience of having them say and work together with the funds that they had. For example, they'd say, "Well, we need more beds for we've got 3 patients over here and we don't have beds or a place for them to stay." One prophet would say, "We've got a shuttle bus. We can come over and get them and move them from point A to point Z." And I remember sitting in the room going, wow, this is just amazing. That number one, all of these nonprofits are sharing everything that they had with one another. And of course, with the Brampton A's, my experience was I brought the entertainment. So we had tickets that were available for the nonprofits that different corporations had purchased to make certain that different nonprofits were be able to have children and youth and clientele that could come into those games. And so I brought that part, which was entertainment, but the part that was most astounding to me was their ability to share and share in everything that they had to better their communities. It was a great experience.
And David was also the commissioner of the NBLC as well. He was also a former head coach too, and I think he coached the Albany Platoons at one point, didn't he?
No, he never coached the
No,
Albany Patroons, but he did play on the Albany
the
Patroons
Platoons. Okay.
back in the days when, Phil Jackson was the head coach, and, they won the championship the year that David played on that team, and other individual who is now a coach for Albany Patroons is Derek Rowland, and he played on the Albany Patroons at the same time that, um, David did, along with Lowes and many other players that came through Albany in that CBA.
I remember the CBA, especially growing up here in Ontario in the 80s. Toronto had a team called the Toronto Tornadoes. They played at a varsity arena, and Ted Stepien, who was the owner of the Cavaliers, owned that team, and he was actually threatening to move the team to Toronto back in 83, 84.
Oh my goodness, that's ironic. Ted Stepien owned the Cleveland Cavaliers and actually what drafted David at pick number 28 that year when they had the draft. He and Bagley. So he marketed it as the Bagley Magley show. And yeah, that's how funny is that?
Yes, and I was disappointed when I was a teenager back in the 80s when the Toronto team moved out of Toronto, and I believe they moved to Sarasota, Florida, or whatever. But
Yes.
I believe Phil Jackson in one playoff series as the head coach of Albany, his team beat the Toronto Tornadoes as well. So a lot of people don't know that Phil Jackson coached in the CBL or CBA, and his team actually beat a Toronto team in the playoff rounds. And I was also going to say,
I'm certain that David has all of information. But I do remember David playing in Florida against that team.
so, and I'm a
I
history of
remember
the
them
game.
traveling.
That's awesome, and I'm hoping one day I'll have David on as well to talk about his playing days, coaching days, and now being the president of the basketball league. And I met him the other night in London at the Budweiser Gardens, and it was just so nice to meet him as well. And same with Audley Stevenson, who's been really good with me the last couple of years.
Yes, and oddly, it's just amazing, an amazing person that has great integrity and a great sense of humor and a great business mind also. So he's a wonderful person to be able to work with and for the betterment of building basketball across North America.
Absolutely. I'm just going to get into some questions, Evelyn, as well. I'm based in Guelph, Ontario, which is about 40 minutes from Brampton. Can you just tell my audience just a little bit about yourself and when did you get into sports and the basketball side of it?
Well, a little bit about myself. I grew up in the inner city in Kansas City, Kansas, and went to regular high school. Back in the day, they didn't have a basketball team for girls until my senior year. I wanted to play, but my mother would not allow me because I needed to practice my violin, of which I went on to the University of Kansas. I have 2 degrees, one in music education and one in music therapy. From there, David and I married, and um, he was drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers. I went on to, I started teaching later on at a school there in Florida after David had retired. And from there, raising our children, um, just living our lives, focused on building a family and working in the community. And me teaching at Braden Christian School for 13 years, teaching music. I really gained a sense of how sports could be a part of a family's life and how it takes time. It has discipline, commitment, and I was also the pep band director, and so I brought in the entertainment portion of games at our school, of which David was the head coach, and so 2 of us played well together as a team, him on the court and me with the band, and from there, our children went through college, and I started working and ended up moving to Canada and met a lot of wonderful people working there with the Brampton A's and with NBL Canada. And I came back to the United States. And then in 2018, we started the basketball league.
Okay. Before I get into some other questions, I wanted to ask you about this as well. Evelyn, being the owner and the CEO, how hard was the pandemic on your business? Obviously, it affected the National Basketball League of Canada and other various leagues, but just thoughts on the pandemic in those 2 years there.
Well, although the pandemic was very impactful in so many ways in communities with people losing lives and families, and it was a very a deep, dark time. But for us with the basketball league, we decided that we were going to move forward, and we had 12 teams when in 2020, and during that pandemic, the next year we tripled in size to 29 teams.
Wow.
And then the next year we had 44. And then, of course, this year we have 49. But what I learned during that pandemic is the resiliency of people to still want to have community, still want to join together as forces to have something that is bigger than themselves. And that's what TBL brings to communities, is an opportunity for people to be involved and for those communities to have a place where they can come together and work together and also have fun. So during that time, amazingly, we grew. And I've just learned to, uh, no matter what comes your way, to never give up. Absolutely never give up. Your hopes and dreams, Chris, what you're doing now as a broadcaster is something, you shared with me. It wasn't something that you knew you were going to do. And even though it's a point in your life where most people would say, well, why are you doing this? You're stepping out on faith and you're getting it done. And because of that, they say, what is it? If you spend 15 minutes on something that you like every day, over 100 hours later, you become an expert. And Chris, I can say, I can see that expert is there in you, and it's coming out, and you've manifested a hope and a dream for yourself. And that's what we are doing with TBL, is manifesting this God-given vision.
Well, thank you so much, and I've been very lucky. And to me, it's not work; it's a passion of mine, and I've always had it in me. But I've just kind of just stayed with another job for many years, and I wasn't very happy. And this is something I have a passion for, and I've had a lot of people support me and been given opportunities. Thanks to Aaron Sanders, the voice of the Windsor Express. Hopefully, he'll be back with the team hopefully next year. Aaron is one of the nicest people you ever meet, and he set me up with Oddly, and just meeting all these wonderful people like yourself. And I love the storytelling aspect of my show as well.
Yes. Well, you're doing a beautiful job, and kudos to you for stepping out and taking charge and doing what's in your heart. And you'll never work another day in your life as you're doing what is your passion. So congratulations to you.
Well, thank you so much, and I've really enjoyed being with the National Basketball League of Canada, and I'm hoping next year I'll be a part of your new league as well.
Yes.
That would be awesome. And I love coming to your country. I have family in Michigan, and Buffalo. The Buffalo area is like my second home. And I just love sports, and it brings people together, like you said.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And when I walk into the arena, every arena has and venue has its own flavor for that community. And it's always interesting to see, the different families as they come out, the entertainment, and what they're doing locally in that community. So it's an exciting place to be.
Absolutely. And now I wanted to ask you this question as well, Evelyn. How did you end up coming about creating and starting up the basketball league I guess it was created in 2017 and the first season was 2018. And what other challenge besides the pandemic did you have to face when you were starting up?
Well, it started it started in 2018.
Okay.
And the first season was in 2019. And I acquired a league that was previous that had played in 2017. So I think that's what you're mentioning. But really, the basketball league was literally birthed on the floor of a bathroom.
Bathroom. Wow.
Yes, you're like, birth on the floor of a bathroom. Yes, it's because I was in that restroom on the floor crying because of things that were going on in my life and my family. I was in a very dark place of not a loss of hope, but just trying to understand, why am I here? What is my purpose? What is my life for? And as I was crying out to God, He gave me an answer and told me to start this league. And with that, I ran in to tell my husband, who was asleep at the time, and uh, he was like, "Can we talk about this in the morning?" I'm like, "No, no." God spoke to my heart. I know what I'm supposed to do. He's like, "What are you talking about?" And from there, we sat down and I made out some plans on what we're going to do. And the name of the basketball league came from my daughter, who I spoke to and said, "You're really good with names. What this vision that I have, what this vision that I got, what do you think we should name it?" She said, "Oh, Mom, just keep it simple. Call it the basketball league." And so with that, I moved forward and got my LLC, and the rest is history as I work together with my husband. Um, to get this vision to manifest.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who came up with the name of the basketball Super League for next year?
Oh my goodness.
I ask a lot of questions.
Yes, you do. I have to think on that one because I would like to say it was David. But yeah, I think it was David because
David.
he had said, we thought, oh, Premier Basketball League. No, he's like, I just think it's going to be super. It's super, the Basketball Super League. And yeah, that's why we were having a discussion. But I would say that would be David.
Okay, and I love the name, and I liked your logo and stuff like that. Now, who came up with the logo and the colors for it? And I thought having the little Canadian flag there would be nice too, or the maple.
Well, the actual graphic was put together, inspired by myself and David, but the person that actually did the graphic was Chris Allison. He's the gentleman that does a lot of designs for our teams, for their jerseys that they wear in season. He has a business called Infinite Apparel, and he's just very creative, and he did a beautiful job on it, putting it together. So it's a blending of the two countries and in showing that we're one.
Absolutely. Now, I wanted to ask you this as well, and I'm not sure you can give me an answer right now. With the three NBLC teams coming in and then your other three Canadian franchises, would it be feasible to have one division full of Canadian teams, especially for travel costs as well for next year?
I don't believe that it will be that way.
Okay.
It's the vision is to have eventually 24 teams that are BSL and at least 64 that are TBL. And for travel's sake, yes, we have a system that we call a pod system that allows teams to be able to travel and be able to save on the expenses of traveling. If you'll notice, even in the NBA, you've got divisions that allow people not to have to cross and do so much travel. It takes time to get places, and then between games, you could have a game against one team one day, and within that same weekend, you have a game against another team. So pods will be placed for consideration for that travel, but none of that is completely mapped out at this time.
Okay, well, I'll just have to stay tuned this summer, and I'm excited as well about this basketball Super League as well. So, all right, I'll get
now
to
the basketball.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I cut you off? Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The basketball Super League is going to be a Premier League. And when I say Premier League, it's simply a true destination league where the players are really there as a destination. TBL is a showcase league. Our games are broadcast in over 145 countries, and our players are seen by agents and scouts from all around the world. Players are trying to get from the G League into the NBA, of which we have players that have actually done that from and through TBL on their journey to get to the NBA. We had in 2021, we had over 300 players, and 160 were picked up to go and play in other countries. But BSL is a destination league. So what that means in comparison to TBL, it means that the venues will be larger, at least 2,500 minimum seating within an arena. The players' wages will be higher, and also there will be no salary cap. And so it is a destination league, and those games will also be broadcast around the world and there's going to be a larger footprint where the two leagues will be able to share in profitability because of that larger footprint, bringing in more national sponsors, partnerships, etc.
When you first started up, how much of a challenge was it to get sponsors aboard your league and stuff like that at the beginning?
Well, I believe, I believe people are watching. National sponsors want to know who you are. Are you real? Are you going to even be around? And so, with any business, the first 3 to 5 years, you're really establishing yourself and establishing ourselves in communities and knocking bugs off of the windshield and continuing to move forward. But now, as we're moving into this sixth season in 2024, we already have many national sponsors that are in conversation, collaborating, and talking with us that I can't mention at this time. But this is the year for the larger connections to take place, especially with this larger footprint that we now have. We have more eyes, more data, a larger audience, a larger fan base. And with that, that does bring looks from national sponsors. And I just think, we're boots on concrete. We're right in the communities, and our players are actively involved as ambassadors. We don't have untouchables. Our players do youth clinics, and after games, actually are able to stop and shake the hands of the people that came to see them. They're not rushed off of the floor and hidden by security. So, because of the way our, how should I say it, the culture that we have within TBL and BSL will be one of accessibility. And so, with that, co-branding with players that are about positively impacting people's lives will make a difference. And I couldn't see why anyone wouldn't want to co-brand with that.
Okay. Are you okay for a couple more quick questions? Time-wise, a couple.
Certainly.
Okay.
Certainly.
And I have a viewer. His name is Ty. He's from the Toronto area. He's a pastor there, and he just says, "Great interview, and all the best to Mrs. Magley on her new venture." And I'm going to try to get him into this new league as well. I try to promote the league as much as I can.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and we do need a lot of support and prayers. We're not a perfect league, but we strive to do the best that we can. And we strive to positively impact lives. And really, you can't put a dollar amount on that.
Okay. Obviously, with this new league next year, you're going to have live streaming. Is there any talk about possibly maybe getting some TV coverage of this new league as well, both in the States and Canada as well?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. There will be the ability to be able to have all those games will be live streamed. We're in some collaborations right now with a worldwide producer
Okay.
that I'm not able to mention, but I'm
No,
so excited about it because
that's
it
awesome.
it will put our players and the league, both leagues, on the map. And we're talking worldwide, and we're already in 145 countries, but this will take us to another level, which also brings more sponsors,
And more
more,
fans and more
more
exposure.
fans, and
Yep.
more opportunities. And
Yeah.
that's what we're about, is bringing opportunities.
Speaking of that, who came up with the catchphrase "Where the spirit of the game lives"?
Where the spirit of the game
Game
lives
lives.
actually came from a gentleman. Oh, you ask great questions. I'm stalling. Charlie Rosen.
Okay.
who is a friend of David's and myself. He was a writer, and back in the day, he's a writer now, but he was with the Albany Patroons. And that where the spirit of the game lives is it's most befitting because we are about the spirit, and the spirit is love. And this game of basketball, of course, with James Naismith, was created for an opportunity to put these rambunctious young men together that were going stir crazy, like, please make a game or something that they could do. And the spirit of the game was to do things in love. When they first started, that's why you can only touch the ball, because when he originally created the game, the guys that were playing it thought they were supposed to tackle the other person that had the ball. And so he's like, whoa, whoa, no, 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 no. This is not the way this is to be played. Somebody's going to get hurt. Let's not touch the other players. You can only touch the ball. And so with that, the installation of the rules and everything was put together to have respect for one another when they're playing the game. And the respect was that you weren't supposed to hit anybody. Imagine that.
Well, that's great. I just wanted to ask you
about that. In a circle, but the spirit of the game is love. The spirit of the game is community. The spirit of the game is TBL, because that's what we're bringing to communities. It's a different way of thinking, and a different way of playing. And of course, there's going to be testosterone all over the court, and people are yelling, screaming, hollering, and have a great time. But the spirit of the game with TBL is not to be violent.
Have you thought about putting that quote on a T-shirt for maybe next year?
I've thought about it. There's some marketing and things that we're working on. And I also have, we also have a shirt that we thought about putting out there for our commissioner, Wiley, which says, welcome to the pros.
I was going to ask you about the commissioner as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How good of a job has she done?
Commissioner Wiley, he has done a wonderful job in making certain that there are rules and regs in place, and implementing, making certain that all the teams abide by what the league has established as its standards. And he calls everything like it is. He's not afraid to make decisions and choices and make a stand. But he is an excellent commissioner because he's been in all phases of the game, from being a player to being a coach. And now as a commissioner, he can see all the different sides of the perspective that people have. If you come in and you've never been a player or you've never been a coach, there's a perspective sometimes that can be missed. And he's able to utilize his own experience to be able to relate to the players and the coaches and the teams. So he is a wonderful commissioner, and we're really blessed to have him as our commissioner for TBL.
Thank you for sharing that. And I will have to reach out to him, and maybe after the season's over, I can have him come on my show as well.
Oh yeah, he's wonderful. He'll be a great interview.
I'm going to put you on the spot with this one for next year. Is the championship trophy going to still be renamed the Lily Trophy for going into the future as well?
For BSL, that's something that is in the works, and I'll let you know as soon as we have more information on that. But the Lily Trophy is actually named after my mother. Because of the things that she stands for, her support of the league. She played basketball back in the day when you had an offense and a defense, and there were 3 on one side of the court and 3 on the other, and you didn't cross the mid. You had to throw the ball across, but you couldn't come across. Wow. And she's always loved basketball, and she's been a great supporter of TBL.
Okay. And I just got two quick questions to ask you, if that's all right. Okay. This one I wanted to ask you as well, Evelyn. What is it like being the first female to ever own a professional basketball league, and being the CEO as well?
Well, to own a men's professional basketball league, what has it been like? It's been a real experience. I would say that my first year, I learned a lot by watching, listening, listening, and listening. Uh, I have found that it is a man's world, this men's league, but they're very receptive to me being the CEO. And I will say that as a CEO, as a woman, you know that 85 cents out of every dollar is going to go back into the community. So my concern is not so much as just my experience as a woman, but what are we going to do to impact lives in the community? And from that point of view, the communities have been extremely open because our communities are hurting. They need uh, our young people need mentors. Our players, as we are teaching them to be ambassadors, are speaking into the young people's lives and saying things and impacting them in ways that sometimes parents just aren't able to do. They're looking up to them, and if a player says, "Hey, I was in school. You need to study some." It's amazing. They seem to hear that when it's coming from someone that they admire. So I think the impact that I'm having, or being a, I just don't know. I don't know if there's a right answer to that. Um, I would say I've learned to keep moving forward. I'm
Never look
learning.
back.
I'm learning to smile because I am very focused, and it's amazing that if I'm not smiling when I say something, culturally speaking, most people think you're angry when you're a woman. Men aren't always speaking with a smile on their face, but somehow I must smile, and I'm learning to do that. Um, and so I would say that's one of the things I've learned is to continue to smile, because when I do speak, and I'm speaking as a man probably would speak without a smile, I'm often misinterpreted as being angry, and I'm not. So that's what I've learned. I've also learned that being an African American and a female, as far as getting a lot of support, as people are talking about the Me Too generation, uh, I don't know that there's been that much more support because I'm African American and I'm a female. You see, and all of the people that say they want to support women, and as an African American, um, but I want to see if people that say what they say, if they really mean it, and will they do it. And so, as I'm approaching corporations and sponsorships for those that are looking to support a female, African American, I am here and I'm ready to have those conversations. But as right now, I haven't found that it's opened any doors for me.
Well, hopefully it does in the future, and you see more females owning professional sports teams and leagues in the future as well.
Well, I would say, Chris, that we're in the 21st century, and I think there is plenty of room, but I was absolutely shocked when I found out that I was the first. I'm thinking that this should have been done a long time ago, and I shouldn't be the last. And I know there's a female with the XFL that is CEO of that football league, which they made it through their season. Kudos to her for making it through that second season that they had. So there's a lot to be learned out there, but I want to just keep breaking those glass ceilings and being representative and handling things in a way that I'm opening doors for more women that are coming behind me.
Well, you definitely have my support as well. And finally, I'm going to end this show soon. And I apologize for keeping you over 30 minutes, but I really enjoy talking to you and hearing your stories. Just thoughts on receiving international media attention, our coverage by Aussie Magazine and Black Enterprise. And where can my audience follow you on social media and the website for the TBL, which I do have down on the graphics as well?
Well, they can follow us at Twitter. Our handle is at TBL Pro League, PROLEAGUE. Our Instagram is at T Basketball League. Our website is www.thebasketballleague.net. And of course, if you want to see some exciting games, and I'm telling you, you're about to get your socks knocked off with these games because our teams are amazing. These young men, when they play, they're playing with their hearts. They know that every time they're on the court, it is an opportunity to be seen around the world for more opportunities. And so go to tbltv.tv, and we have all games are being live streamed, and you can see all the different teams, and our playoffs will start May 30th.
That is great. And I'm going to have to subscribe to TBL TV because I would like to catch some of your games as well.
Oh, they're fabulous. And the players, they're just having a great time, and the coaches and the communities. We've got dancers, mascots, bands, drum lines. It is just an amazing opportunity to see communities from across the United States and Canada, everything that they're doing as they're extending this form of entertainment to communities.
And my one viewer before we wrap it up, Ty again. He's a pastor in Toronto. I've met him. He's a really nice guy. His son plays for the CFL's Toronto Argonauts. He just says, keep breaking those glass ceilings.
Well, thank you so much. Keep us in your prayers. There's a lot of work, but I love every second of what I do. And I love our teams, our players, our team market owners, and the communities that they're in.
And just quick thoughts on when you when you were receiving international media coverage as well from Aussie Magazine and Black Enterprise.
When I did,
yeah, just thoughts when you were receiving international media coverage.
Well, it was really neat to be recognized and to be seen. And my main concern is just I'm getting the word out there. Our story has not been fully seen across the United States and Canada and the world. So every opportunity that I have, whether it be with Ozzy or Black Enterprise or any other media, is to tell the story so that people can see that they can come out and see professional basketball that is actually affordable. They can come to the games, afford to take their families and get popcorn and, get some memorabilia because it's affordable and it is a high level of basketball. Let's face it. We have players in TBL that played in the NBA, that played in the G League, that have played overseas, and those that are working to get to those levels. So just because, they're not playing in one of the other leagues, all right, it doesn't mean that they're not talented or that the talent just drops off and no one can play. These young men just need opportunities to be seen. And that's what we give them, is an opportunity to be seen and to play at that high level.
Absolutely. And there's been some guys from your league that have come to Canada this year, like AJ Mosby with
Yeah.
Sudbury. And speaking of that, the NBLC finals, game 4 tonight, 7 o'clock, Windsor, London. And London's one win away from their 6th title. So anyone out there watching or listening, please check out NBLC TV with Aaron Sanders and Drake Demore tonight. It should be a great game 4 tonight at the WFCU Center in Windsor.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
Evelyn, I want to say thank you so much for coming on here today. And I would love to have you back as a guest in the future again as well, maybe just before when the new league starts up next fall.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris. And I look forward to meeting with you again.
Absolutely. And if you can give me a little bit of time this afternoon, I will have this episode downloaded to my audio platforms, and I will send you and the league a copy of our show as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris.
Well, thank you so much. And it was a pleasure speaking with you, and continued success with the Basketball League going to the playoffs, and also next year with the Basketball Super League, the BSL. Thank you so much, Evelyn.
Thank you. Be blessed.
Have a great day.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed season 6, episode 5 of Live with CDP Sports Talk today with Evelyn Magley. She is the first woman in the world to own a professional men's league, and also she is the CEO of the Basketball League as well. And next year, looking forward to the new league called the BSL, the Basketball Super League as well. And as I was speaking to Evelyn, the NBL Finals, Game 4 tonight. 7 o'clock, must win for Windsor. They're down 2-1 to the London Lightning. If you can't get down to the WFCU Center through tickets from the Windsor Express website, you guys can catch the game live streamed on NBLC TV at 7 o'clock tonight with the fabulous voice of the Windsor Express, Aaron Sanders, along with Drake Demore. And it should be a great game tonight. And I want to say thank you to the NBLC of Canada for letting me be a media affiliate of the league the last 2 years. And I'm looking forward to this continued partnership and merger with the TBL going forward to next year with the Basketball Super League as well. And you guys, check out the Basketball League's website, thebasketballleague.net as well, and their playoffs are going to be starting next week as well, and it should be great. You have some great teams in the TBL right now: the Seattle Superhawks 20-3, Madonia Timberjacks 15-7, the Atlantic City Gamblers 19-3, the Georgia Soul 17-5, the Kokomo Bobcats out of Indiana, always a solid basketball franchise, 20-9, and the Potawatomi, I got to learn how to pronounce that name, Fire, 19-3. So, guys, I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce the one name of the team again, the Potawatomi Fire, 19-3. And the Albany Petuna are 18-3, and also don't forget the Glass City Wranglers under head coach Freddie Zamaya as well. So again, I want to say thank you so much to Evelyn Magley, the owner, the founder, and the CEO of the Basketball League for coming on today. I'm just going to show you guys a little clip from Wish TV in Indianapolis, who did an interview with Evelyn just about a month ago or so. And this clip is courtesy of Wish TV in Indianapolis. Just bear with me 1 second.
Tonight's Unfiltered, the first professional sports league to be owned and operated by a woman, is right here in Indiana. Evelyn Magley is the owner of what is called the Basketball League. She joins us now for our Unfiltered conversation. Evelyn, thank you so much. Take us through. How'd you start owning this? And it's been around for what, about 5 years now?
5 years, Phil. And first, I'd like to say thank you so much for allowing me to have an opportunity to tell the journey of TBL and all the big and exciting things that are coming our way.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on with us. The league has, 49 teams, right, in the U.S. and Canada?
Yes, we have 49 teams stretched across the United States. And our season started on March 1st of 2023. And we've just taken off with a bang, and a lot of exciting things are going on.
How many do we have here in Indiana?
In Indiana, we have 3 teams. We have Medora Timberjacks. We have the Lebanon Leprechauns, And we also have the Kokomo Bobcats.
Wow. Okay. So where do the players come from? Did they play college ball? How does that all work?
Well, the players come from typically in this league, the communities that the teams are located in. And so it's basically local talent. These players have played either on the Division I level, they played at community colleges. Some have never played on a college level. Maybe they didn't have the college experience. And we also have players that have played in the G League and the NBA. So we've got a large variety of talent that plays in TBL.
Take me back to when you decided that you wanted to buy the league.
Well, I actually started the league.
Okay, so take me back to that.
So I started back in 2018. My husband was actually in Canada at that time and ended up coming back to the United States. And through working with him, I had lived in Canada for a while, working with the Brampton A's in the community outreach. And you can probably hear the drums going here behind me. But when I came back to the States, I had a vision. It's a God-given vision, and I don't apologize for it, that shows that we're going to use the game of basketball, the simple game of basketball, to show love to community. And that's where it started 5 years ago. From there, I acquired another league that had 8 teams. We grew from 8 to 10 to 12. And then during the pandemic, we grew to 29 teams, if you can imagine.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. We actually shut down 3 days before the young man touched all the mics from the NBA.
Yes.
Because no one at that time knew what was going on in this pandemic of sorts that was coming. No one really knew where it was going to. And so we closed down 3 days before the NBA did. And then from there, we decided, do we stop or do we continue to grow? And we decided we're just going to continue to go and grow and reach out to communities. And that's what we did. And the league it tripled in size to 29 teams. Then last season, we grew to 44. And now this season, we have 49 teams stretched across the United States.
My goodness. I have about a minute left. So where do you see the future of the league going? I understand that you want to start a super league. Is that right?
Yes, it's Basketball Super League, which will be international in reach. It will grow in North America. It will be one of the largest professional basketball leagues in America, underneath, of course, the NBA and the G League. But we'll have 24 teams overall in Canada, 64 in America, 88 in all. And then the Super League allows our teams to have the ability to be able to interact and play against one another. So it will be 2 separate leagues. One will be a premier league with larger venues, larger capacity for audiences, and the wages will be higher for those players that play within that league. There will be no salary cap there. But it's going to really open more doors of opportunity for all of the players, for all of the teams from both leagues. And so it's a win-win for them and for the communities that they're based out of.
And I have to tell you, we love ourselves some basketball here in Indiana. Evelyn, thank you so much. Congratulations. We look forward to talking with you soon. Try to get out and enjoy a game one of these days. We will keep us posted on anything that comes your way, okay?
Yes, and make certain you go to thebasketballleague.net for information on TBL. And of course, for BSL, Basketball Super League, just go to basketballsuperleague.com.
And we'll put that information on our website, wishtv.com as well. Evelyn, thank you so much.
That clip was courtesy of Wish TV in Indianapolis as well. That was done recently as well. And again, I'm looking forward to the new league starting up, I believe, Boxing Day, December 26th. So just really looking forward to it. And guys can also check out the NBL Canada's website as well, nblcanada.ca as well. And I'm really looking forward to the game 4 tonight as well. Before we wrap up our show, the next live with CDP Sports Talk was supposed to be tomorrow, Friday, May 26th at 11 a.m. with Jessica Benish, but unfortunately she's ill right now, so we've rescheduled for next Wednesday at 11 a.m. So there is no live with CDP Sports Talk tomorrow at 11 a.m. Unfortunately, my guest is under the weather, so but there will be a small talk podcast, episode 5, with my co-host and Andy Carroll Woolery this Monday, May 29th at 5 p.m. with guest Elizabeth Nevich. She is an auto sales consultant with Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph, which is a sponsor of Live with CDP as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment talk show hosted by yours truly, Chris Pame, is on weeknights at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk, and the heartbeat of Atlanta. And a shout out to station manager Ryan O'Neill for having me on his radio network as well. And you guys can check out their website at WQEEFM.radio12345.com as well. As always, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. I want to say thank you to everybody watching this live stream this afternoon as well. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Type in Chris Pame or Live with CDP Sports Talk, as I've tripled my subscribers since last year as well. Everybody can follow my website if you wish to, beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame. All my digital content and my writing and all my media sites and previous podcast episodes are on beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame as well. And as always, Live with CDP Sports Talk, again, is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycullen.com as well. And finally, with Barry Cullen Chevrolet, spring into summer at Barry Cullen I'll start that over again, guys. Spring into summer at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership with a 2023 Chevy Equinox, 3.99% financing for up to 60 months. Eligible Costco members can receive a $750 bonus on select SUVs as well. You guys, everyone can follow me if you wish to. You can follow me on TikTok at Live with CDP. I post a lot of content there, my podcast shows, my guests, and also a lot of my interviews with coaches and players are on there as well. And today, this morning, I interviewed Toronto Argonauts quarterback number 3, Cameron Duke. So please check out my TikTok page later and also my YouTube channel for my interview today with Cameron Dukes and the Toronto Argonauts. And the Toronto Argonauts, you can check out their website at argonauts.ca. And the Argonauts will be playing their first preseason game this Saturday, May 27th at 4 o'clock at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton. If you can't get down to the Still City in Hamilton for the game, you can watch it on CFL.ca or the Argonauts website, argonauts.ca as well. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting such as myself, check out StreamYard.com as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk, the audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Stitcher, and tuned in, and weeknights at 8 o'clock on WQE 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta. Again, guys, my next live with CDP Sports Talk will be next week, season 6, episode 6. Guest and time and date to be announced as well. But my show tomorrow has been postponed due to my guest, Jessica Benish, being ill, so we've had to reschedule for tomorrow. So there's no live with CDP Sports Talk tomorrow. But season 1, episode 5 of the Small Talk podcast will take place on Monday, May 29th at 5 p.m. Eastern with my co-host and Andy Carol Woolery and our guest Elizabeth Nevick, who is an auto sales consultant with Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph. And looking forward to speaking to Elizabeth about her career in the construction industry and now is an auto sales consultant with Barry Cullen Chevrolet as well. And if you guys can give me about 15 minutes, I will have this episode downloaded to all my audio platforms as well, guys. And again, NBLC finals tonight, London at Windsor, 7 p.m. tip-off. Can't get down to the WFCU Center. Check out NBLC TV, Aaron Sanders and Drake Demore with the call at 7 p.m. If Windsor wins tonight, there'll be a 5th game Friday night at the Budweiser Gardens. And if London wins tonight, London will win back-to-back NBLC title championships and will win their 6th in franchise history. So it's do or die for the Windsor Express tonight. So please check out NBLC TV with Aaron Sanders and Drake Demore tonight at 7 o'clock. And also, before we wrap it up, guys, NHL tonight, Vegas and Dallas. Vegas is up 3-0, a win tonight, and Vegas will be going to the Cup for the 2nd time in 4 years to take on the Florida Panthers. So it's a do or die game for Dallas tonight. If they don't win, they're done. They're out in 4 games. And Florida last night won, I believe, 3-2 against Carolina on a goal by former London Knight Matthew Tkachuk with 4 seconds left. And the Florida Panthers, number 8 seed, have taken out Boston, Toronto, and Carolina, 3 of the best teams in the NHL. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers, Eastern Conference champions for the 2nd time in their franchise history and 2nd time since 1996. Meanwhile, the Toronto Maple Leafs have not won a cup or been to a cup since 1967. So tremendous job by the Florida Panthers this year as well. And Matthew Tkachuk won with the London Knights, and he's a great player, and Florida is going to be tough to beat in that Stanley Cup Finals, whether it's Vegas or Dallas, most likely Vegas as well. NBA playoffs tonight, Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5, which I didn't think we'd see. Boston showed up in Game 4 and beat Miami in Miami. So Miami's lead is now 3-1 over the Celtics, and Game 5's tonight at the Boston TD Garden. Miami at Boston at 8:30 tonight. Celtics win, they'll force a 6-game back in Miami. Miami wins, they'll be taking on the Denver Nuggets as well. Again, I want to say thank you to my guest today, Evelyn Magley, the owner, founder, and CEO of the Basketball League, the TBL, for coming on here today. And I will have our audio version of this show downloaded in the next few minutes. And please check out the basketballleague.net as well, or nblccanada.ca as well. I hope everybody has a great rest of the afternoon, and please check out my social media pages and my YouTube channel for more Toronto Argonaut interviews and more Argonaut content on Twitter and my Facebook pages as well. I hope everybody has a great day, great evening, and we'll see you guys Monday night at 5 o'clock for the Small Talk podcast with my co-host and Andy Carol Woolery. Again, thank you to Evelyn Magley for coming on, and everyone watching and listening to this show. And again, to Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership here in Guelph for sponsoring live with CDP Sports Talk. Have a great day, great evening, and great weekend, and we'll see you guys Monday.